illegally killed a lion in Zimbabwe, and this lion was a lovable lion that tourists and people in the area were actually pretty obsessed with, referred to as Cecil the Lion. Now, Walter Palmer has been identified as the American dentist who used a crossbow to kill this lion, but what's crazy about this story was how it all went down. Now, the lion was actually in a nature reserve and was supposed to be protected. And according to reports, it was lured away from the reserve. That way, this dentist who paid $55,000 to kill it would be able to do so. Okay, so authorities in Zimbabwe say Walter Palmer from Minneapolis paid $55,000 bribe to wildlife guides to allow him to shoot the lion named Cecil with a crossbow. Dr. Palmer and his accomplices are believed to have lured Cecil out of the protection of the national park using bait and shot him with the bow, a silent weapon increasingly used by hunters trying to evade arrest. Now, a few caveats that you should know about. Hunting for lions is not illegal in Zimbabwe. However, if it's in a national park, it's supposed to be protected. So, according to what we know right now, it seems as though the lion was lured away from that national park in order for this hunter to be able to do what he did. Now, after he used the crossbow, the lion didn't die immediately. In fact, they had to stalk the lion for another 40 minutes, and then finally they shot it with a rifle, and that's when it died. But people are livid about this.
I just got to jump in and say it's much worse, actually. It's 40 hours.
Oh, I thought it was 40 minutes.
No. They know this. This is amazing because the lion's actions are actually being tracked by a GPS device in Oxford University in London. Okay, the world's a fascinating place. So they realized that they tracked the lion for 40 hours and then killed it with a rifle. So like sometimes the hunters are like, oh yeah, I did a crossbow and yeah, I'm so tough. And no, you just crossbow hurt the lion and then you tracked it down as it's struggling for life for all that time and then shot it with a gun. So no, you're not a tough guy. Look, here's my take on hunting. I know some people love hunting, and there's often situations where the deer are overpopulated. Everybody wins through the hunt. It's not a big deal, right? In a situation like this where it's not sanctioned, it's not right, the locals are not in favor of it, the government's not in favor of it, nobody's in favor of it. Like, you want to go after the lion? Okay, dude. Well, then go in there. Well, you know what? I'll be merciful. I'll give you a knife. Okay? Good luck. You can handle a lion with a knife, you go get him. But don't come to me with crossbows and rifles and then think you're a tough guy. They decapitated the lion and then put his head on a stick. So, I mean, if people like the lion and then they see that, I mean, look, I think both sides get a little carried away. The other side's like, that lion never hurt anybody. It's a lion. Like, I mean, given its druthers, it eats you, right?
No, but what they mean by, I think what they mean by that is the lion should live because it's not harmful to the environment. It's not, like, I think they're trying to make a point about how, yes, in some cases, wildlife is overpopulated and hunting makes sense. In this case, it didn't make sense. It was in a national park, didn't do anything wrong. There was no reason for this lion to be hunted. But I'm going to go even further. I think people who are obsessed with killing exotic animals like this are idiots. And they need to find better things to do with their time. I get it if you want to kill game for food, if it is overpopulated and you find it sporty, whatever, do you, right? But if you're going to travel to Africa, pay $55,000 to kill an animal like a lion, you got to find a better hobby, man. I'm sorry. What kind of enjoyment do you get out of that? So you can decapitate it and then put its head on the wall and feel good about yourself? How small is your penis? Please tell me.
Look, I don't know about that, but I do know that it's a weird thing to brag about. I mean, yeah, okay, I could roll in with a tank and shoot the lion with the tank. That doesn't make me a tough guy. We have an enormous advantage over the lion. We have weapons. Like, this is not the old days when we used to go on hunts and we'd only have the spears, and it was a real challenge. Sometimes you'd get it and sometimes you wouldn't, and if you didn't, your family didn't eat, and that was a real issue. Okay, now if you're proud about that, yes, I get it. And it's in our DNA probably to some degree to be proud of the hunting, right? And if you were doing it in the old school way, I got it. But don't brag and feel great that you hit it with several different weapons, and then you decapitated it and you feel like a tough guy. You're not tough, okay?
Right, and the thing is, people will make the argument that, hey, you know what, in the U.S. we kill cows and chickens and pigs for food. And look, we speak out against the torture of those animals in order to kill them for food, right? We speak out against that all the time. I'm not saying that, hey, you know what, you should never kill any animals, it's wrong. I get it, people kill animals for food. This was not an animal that was killed for food, and on top of it, it was tortured for 40 hours. It's amazing because I read multiple reports, and even though they said 40 hours in every single article, I couldn't read it as 40 hours because that's so unbelievable to me. Making an animal suffer for 40 freaking hours as it's bleeding out with, with the crossbow, with the arrow in it.
Okay, now at the same time, I want all you guys that are going ballistic over this to also calm down. Here's what I mean. Obviously, you can tell we're not fans of it. We don't want it. We don't like it, okay? But then there's commenters on Facebook saying things like, nothing in this world would give me greater pleasure than seeing your head mounted on a wall, your carcass defiled, degraded, and paraded as you did to Cecil and nearly countless other animals. Okay, hey, bring it down. It's very ironic. You don't like that he did the killing of an animal, and now you're threatening to kill him. It's not the right way to go. It reminds me of the Muslim radicals who are like, I am so offended you called me violent, hence I will kill you. No, not the right way to go. Supremely ironic. Don't do that. Okay, it's not right to hunt animals in this way. Obviously, you feel that way. Certainly wouldn't be right to do it to a human being that you disagree with. So if there are legal consequences, and by the way, there could be up to 10 years in prison. Some of the people involved in the hunt have already been detained by the local authorities because it is illegal. Okay, that makes sense, and we're all on board for that. You got to follow the law, but don't go outside of the law and get mental about a dentist in Minnesota